Love that money.
Yeah.
Hey,
where you come from, Jordan?
Hey,
right. Before we get started with anything, I want to let my guests and everybody else know this may not be going on Facebook because I've been banned from Facebook for 3 days. So just know this. So go to YouTube and we put the video back on Facebook once my ban is over with. We'll put this episode back on. Just to let everybody know off the bat, all the transparency and stuff like that. I got tired of trying to fight them on the suspension, but it is what it is. So, first off, I want to say hello to everybody out there. Hope everybody had a great day. We got another good interview today. Of course, I got best damn podcast host in the business right now with us. And again, as we celebrate Women's History Month, we got us a real live woman. Again. That's a real live woman. And this one is special because she is an awesome supporter and fan of the show. Freaking awesome.
Yes.
And
yes.
Before we even get to it, because I'm gonna let my guys go ahead and introduce themselves before we give the proper tribute to our guest speaker today. So I'm gonna let my guys go ahead and introduce themselves first before we introduce our special guest. And some of y'all already know, if you tune into the show, hopefully you know. I don't know what you're doing, but go ahead, fellas.
Go ahead, light skin.
What's going on? It's your boy Jordan, Asian boy. You already know the Dime Magic Wand, that light skinned player from them Himalayas, man. Welcome to Unfiltered. Welcome to Unfiltered. We glad to have y'all. We glad it's Women's Month.
Yeah. This your boy Mac Daddy. 1-4 for the Unfiltered. Thank y'all for sharing, liking, subscribing. If you haven't, please do. And I'm excited for the show. So let's get it.
All right, cool beans. So with all the things out of the way, we got somebody who's been one of our most passionate, loyal, faithful followers. Period. One of our most what can you say? Just everything. If everybody had followers and supporters like this woman, man, I tell you, what we do would be so much easier, even though we love what we do, but it'd be 10 times more easier. And when we was first thinking about doing it, she was the first name. I ended up calling. I was like, man, I got to call. I got to call her and see if she gonna do this bad boy. Because I remember asking, we had the Jordan, I'm like, you think Mackenzie will do it? And I called Mackenzie, and And Mackenzie sounds just every bit what I thought she'd sound like. So
Down to yelling at my kids and everything.
Say that again, Mackenzie.
I said down to yelling at my kids and everything. That was part of the phone.
Yeah, no, but it's kind of picturesque of what I thought you were gonna sound, so it just came right up. But we are so grateful, to have you on the show, actually live, where everybody can not only where they was used to reading your comments, now we get to hear a great story, which I know because every time you comment, I see that you put your honesty and your heart out there. Not to mention the fact that you can tell straight passion, just passion that comes through it. And you don't talk out the side of your neck. And I got a lot of respect for that because a lot of people talk out of the side of their neck all the time. Not to mention, we're going to let you do more introduction to yourself, but, just from the speaking to you, entrepreneur. Also, I know that you said you're going to law, you're pre-law.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that jump over there to it. And a philanthropist, man. So we are so happy to have you. Thank you. Not to mention your mom too. So we give great honor, great honor and respect to you. So to everybody out there, Unfiltered, to one of our part of our family, but not who is the display or the main event of the night. Everybody, I'm gonna try to give it up for Miss Mackenzie Hall.
Thank you. And Jordan can't talk all that mess unchecked today.
Hey, Randy, try to go ahead and send me the stuff and see if I can post it. Because I'm gonna try to post it. Or if you want to wait till the whole link done, we'll do it that way.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it that way because I want to get the interview because I know I'm not worried whoever do it because I know that we go get the views anyway. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just really more want to get this conversation with Mackenzie because I've been wanting to have this for a long time. I'm not going to even lie to you, Mackenzie. Every time we always talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
You do not know how much we respect and love we got for you. When you come over here and you put everything out here, man.
My personal business. Yeah.
It'd be like, wow. And I know you've been watching this whole month of shows have been incredible with the interviews that we didn't have, all the transparency. And I think a lot of it is because of the fact that we've had women on here being more transparent and in essence has made us more transparent about some things that we had to deal with. So this is just incredible. So Mackenzie, just tell us a little bit more about yourself that maybe everybody else out there don't know.
Like you said, I'm a pre-law student. I own a couple different businesses. I'm working really heavy right now to get more involved in the city because we could definitely use it. I spend all of my time really putting everything that I have into my businesses because I know that without that, they're not going to go anywhere. So I don't know. I'm pretty boring. I told Jordan that the other day. I'm pretty boring. I don't do anything. I work on my businesses and I go to school. And I keep dropping my cover. I don't want you guys to see anything. So I feel like so that I can take this off and stop looking crazy, you guys should open your packages very soon.
This package, thank you. I'm like this. Chill on Christmas. Right now? Right now?
You can open them now, yeah. I know. I asked all of you a couple of your favorite things about the city, your favorite sports teams. I asked you guys what your favorite thing about the city was. And Randy, you told me something that stuck out so much that I could not help but put it on a shirt. And I think you're going to love it.
Yo.
And copyright coming. So. Oh, and I can take it off.
Shit.
I really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Yeah, buddy.
So that is what I spend all of my time working on right there.
Yeah, rep Detroit.
I love this.
It's my favorite color.
Your favorite sports team, Mac?
Yeah, the Detroit Pistons colors. Yeah, hustle till it happens. I like that. You know what's crazy? About this quote right here. So I went to Randy crib yesterday, and we was watching a game, and dang, we was watching what it was the Trailblazers and the Pelicans, right? So we was watching. They was down by 20, and he clawed all the way back and won.
Yeah.
And Dame at the end, he said basically he got everything that he had because he spent all his time and effort to what he was doing. Without that, he wouldn't have anything. So just looking at this quote, hustle till it happens, it's like you got to put your time into your craft. And it's going to happen. It's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
The way you need it to happen.
Mm-hmm. And as long as you put all your time and effort into it, you're going to get the results you want.
Always.
I got to put on my shirt right now.
I love this.
It's medium perfect, but I rock with it.
Man,
I tried. So one of the things you said, Randy, I said, what is your favorite thing about the city? You said, one of the things I love about the city is that we are always going to hustle and grind until it happens. Always. And I couldn't help. I had to get it on the shirt. There's two more things that you guys said that I can't release right now because we have copyrights waiting to come back, but we definitely have more coming based off of what you guys said.
I love it.
Randy, I don't even like this shirt no more. This shirt right, I don't like it. Fuck this shirt.
Go put that fucker back on. So I want to man, I really want to do. I love that, man.
So we have 2 more days until the website goes live. 2 more days, because we're waiting on a couple things, and then the website will be live. Each of you, because you guys agreed so graciously to work with me, you will each have your own discount code. Randy, yours would be Rep Randy. Jordan, yours would be Rep Jordan. Mac, yours would be Rep Mac. So what happens is when you give people that discount code, they can go on and they'll get a discount using your code, and then you guys will be able to see like a little competition to see who everybody is repping the hardest.
Okay.
Yes. I cannot wait to get that website to share so we can get these out of there. These shirts are needed out right now. This is dope. This is dope. Crystal's still one of my shirts. I gotta hide it. What my other
and I don't
shirt
have to wear this anymore.
Yeah,
I was looking crazy.
Go ahead and put that down. And also, I know you got one for Cassandra too. I know she's gonna appreciate that. So that's thank you.
Yeah, I know. I'm keeping this shirt for me.
She'll have her own code too.
Okay. Cool beans. I love it. When you bring that up, every time someone talks about Detroit, I'm one of the people that get offended when people say stuff like, I couldn't find anything in Detroit, so I had to leave. And
you weren't looking.
You already took it out. You already took the words out
I'm
of my mouth.
sorry.
I'm like, this is, I'm not mocking anybody for going to places because I'm a firm believer. It's a saying that, you got to grow where you plant it. That's what it's a reason why palm trees are not in Michigan. But I don't think people understand that you can't escape hardship. And hardship is, honestly, I consider hardship the water that makes you grow. It's just real talk. It'll make you, it'll force you to say, do I really want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm just in love with the aspect of what it could be? Because it's a lot of different stuff. So I love, I remember when you asked me that, I just tell anybody, nobody hustles harder than Detroiters. Nobody hustles harder than Detroiters. The people that come close, and I'm not gonna lie, probably like New Yorkers.
Harlem people specifically, but you're right.
But Detroiters on their own. Detroit is a hustle town from jump. We've been through so much, and like I said, I love this, especially this great. But I love it. So I knew you were saying that we big time. We big time in support here, and I'm one of those people that I like to support everything. I'm not gonna people like, man, I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. I'm like, last time I checked, success, it's got an infinite amount out there. That means as much as I can get, as much everybody else can get, and if we all getting it, then we can spread it. That's how I feel about
Yes,
it.
sir.
Community over competition.
There we
Yep.
go. Woo!
Yep.
Mackenzie, you stop it, man. I'm supposed to be dropping off.
Man, look, these quotes coming up out the blue, man.
Hey, if you take a quote from me, I need 10% though.
Hey, what?
You already got you got your code. You better hustle with your code.
I need that.
No, but it was definitely, this is something that's been super important to me. I've been working on it for 2 years. We've been underground for 2 years. I had basically how it started was when I was dating my kid's dad, we were doing all the precursor when you first meet somebody and you start dating and what's your favorite color? What do you like to do? Where are you from? This is where I'm from. Eventually, I ended up taking him to where I grew up because I didn't grow up in Detroit. I grew up in the suburbs. So I ended up taking him out to where I grew up, and that was fine. And then he ended up actually taking me to where he grew up. And I saw people having to live in a way that nobody should ever have to live. I saw people living on mattresses in the middle of the street. And I just thought, like, how selfish of me would it be that I had this great upbringing and I was given an education that not everybody gets to receive. So I know how to help people, but I'm just not going to help anybody. I'm just going to be selfish and get myself to where I need to be and not help anybody else. Like, how selfish could I be? Like, I know how to help people, but I'm just not going to help anybody. So the more he took me to where the schools he went to aren't even there anymore. The houses he lived in are nothing but grass. So it's like, I knew that I had to do something with my life that would help other people. And he used to always ask me, if there's 3 things you could do, what would you do? And it took me a long time to figure it out. But if I could sum it up in 3 words, I would rebuild the city. I would educate the people in the city so that it never gets to the way that it is now. And I would promote people that are trying to do good in the city. And when you look at it, that's what all of this comes from. So definitely we're trying to do good things in the city. We do different things every month to try to help people. And we're just trying to get things back to where they used to be before everything kind of went downhill. So
Definitely in love with the mission for sure.
For sure.
So again, was it just going and seeing again, you said your kid's father, was that the trigger that got you started on this path? Okay.
Yes, because I had never been out of the suburbs before that. I had never seen downtown. I had never seen the city at all. I didn't even know, it wasn't even a thought in my head that people could have to live that way. And when he came out to where I was from, it was the same thing. He had no idea everybody didn't live like him. Like, he grew up very rough. He had a mom who was real heavy into drugs, and they had to live in abandoned houses. And he had no idea that there was people, I hate to say that had it easy, because nobody was easy, but the worries are the same. I'll say that. You're not worried about the same things when you grow up where I did, rather than when you grow up where he did. So I just couldn't believe that there was people having to live the way they were having to live and also having to do the things that they were having to do. And I just couldn't sit back and not do anything about it. It's not me.
So what? Go ahead, Jordan. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying I understood.
So when you see these things, like, do you feel like you're obligating the way because you see, acknowledge that it's bad, or you feel that, hey, I could do something about it, so I'm going to do it?
Well, there's bad everywhere, but it's definitely more so of I know how to help it. I know how to change it. I have the skills and the resources to change it. So that's what I feel obligated to do.
So what is your background that you feel that you're able to make a change?
I've been in college since 2013. I've learned everything and I've graduated with nothing, but I know a lot.
Hmm.
So I took a lot of business classes. I took a lot of urban development classes, a lot of economics classes, because you really, at the end of the day, you need to get to the root of why things are why they are how they are, and also why they're not changing. So obviously there's some force there that's making things not change. So you need to really get to the bottom of it. I feel like I've spent enough time researching, not only in the book, because you can be book smart all you want, but if you're not street smart, you're not going to get anywhere. So on top of that, I've spent a lot of time in the communities that I'm trying to help, just to get to know the people, because once you get to know the mindset of the people, you add that book smart and that street smart, and people get comfortable with you, and people get comfortable with seeing your face and knowing what you're trying to do for them. I know a lot of times I've seen companies come in. You got these big millionaires that have these companies that come in and they try to help people, and it's resisted so bad because they don't think you understand what they're going through. They think you just see dollar signs and you want to come in, like gentrification. You just want to come in, take everything over, charge people more, kick people out. If you don't do that footwork and spend that time getting to know people, getting to understand why people are the way they are, you're not going to be accepted in the community, because for a long time, I was just that white girl that was coming from the suburbs that was trying to put my nose where I didn't belong. But eventually over time, people got comfortable with seeing my face and knowing that I had nothing but good intentions for things. And it's honestly been nothing but a blessing ever since then.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So with the issues that you see in Detroit, especially at the more impoverished areas, do you think the resources are an issue or the people are the issue? So what I mean by people is that, they don't have the mindset to basically, keep up the area, or people that's destroying the community or in that area. You know what I mean? So kind of in that stratosphere.
I think it's both. I think not necessarily the resources, because Detroit has plenty of resources. There's a lot of resource guarding that goes on in Detroit, and they don't want certain resources to be allocated to certain places. You also have a lot of, we have had a lot of corrupt politicians that have not made the best decisions with resources. But I also think that the city has somewhat gotten to the point of feeling like we've tried to fix it so many times and it's not going to work, so it's never going to work. I've had so many people tell me to just stop trying, because there's always going to be people that fight back. And I feel like almost like the city has given up on itself, because they've seen these other cities elevate and get all this new stuff. And I think it's a little bit of both. I think with a little bit of motivation and letting people know that you can come back from whatever we have gone through, that it'll be nothing. But I also don't want it to get confused, because sometimes people go downtown only and they see downtown and they say, you guys are fine. You have this brand new Little Caesars Arena. You have all these brand new things. But the thing is, you can drive 2 minutes outside of downtown and you see what I saw. So I think there's just a lot of different factors at play. But I do also think the mindset needs to change. Like the Detroit arsonist didn't help anything. So I think it's a little bit of both.
So you're working with older people also. It's not just a young thing. Well, okay.
No.
Do you feel, especially in Detroit, I mean, I accuse myself a lot now, but I feel like they can be so stuck in their ways. It's like, I can't help you. How do you do that, first of all?
Well, it's pretty easy when you remind people that have been in Detroit since the 60s and 70s. All you have to do is remind them what it was before and let them know that it is absolutely possible to get back to that if you adjust your thinking just a little bit. There's people that remember when the train station, there was one point where Detroit had a population of over 13 million people, and they were all living comfortably because they were all there was employment through the train station. There was employment through Ford and all these new places. And then kind of when the train station closed in the 80s, things kind of slowed down. And I honestly think if you had to ask me, I think that was the point where people kind of lost steam and lost hope because they didn't need the train station. When the train station closed down, so many people lost their jobs. And I think after that, people kind of gave up. But it's easier when you remind people that with a couple small tweaks, we can absolutely get back to that.
You said 13 million?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, man. That's crazy.
To kind of relate my question with Jordan, so I know in the city we have two mindsets. We got the mindset of the older generation and the younger generation, and that gap is very big on how they think or how they want to help the city. So what ideas or what do you think can help bridge that gap between the new generation and the older generation to help make the city better?
I think first and foremost, the younger generation needs to understand that there are things that we don't know, and we need to admit that there are things that we don't know. There are things that older people can tell us that they know that we don't because we weren't there. But at the same time, I think the older generation needs to understand that we have maybe a new fire that they don't have anymore because they tried for so long and things didn't go anywhere. And I think we have a new fire and a new drive and I think when you put those two things together, that's where that education, that E and rep comes in. When you educate both sides on what the true intention of the other side is, it becomes less of a gap and easier to understand where people are coming from.
So
education is not just educating people on other people. Education for us is a lot of things. We have so many things in the works that we want to do. We want to educate people on what their rights are against law enforcement. We want to educate people we want to educate fathers on what their rights are when it comes to things like child relations. We want to educate people on entrepreneurship. We want to educate people when it comes to trades. We have so many things that we want to do. Education is a really broad term that we're using to kind of encompass everything that we're trying to do.
Okay. I heard you say the E again stood for educate and rep. What's the whole thing one more time?
So rep is rebuild, educate, and promote.
Rebuild, educate, and promote.
And I feel like if you do all three of those things, there's nothing left that it'll bring us right back to where we were before.
No, I agree for sure. What are some things you've done already to, forward your movement?
So we've done a lot of work with schools. Last year, we did a couple different back to school drives where we gave not only parents that couldn't afford school supplies. This was actually 2019. Last year, everything was shut down. But 2019, we did a lot of back to school drives where not only did we give parents school supplies for their children, we gave teachers school supplies for teachers that necessarily couldn't afford them for their classroom. We did a Thanksgiving food drive for the homeless where we made Thanksgiving meals and went and handed them out on Thanksgiving. Something that we're really interested in doing this upcoming year is we really want to do some Christmas adoptions for some families who maybe aren't in the best situation where we can adopt some families and give them a good Christmas. But really what our goal is to try every single month. We will be using our net profit to help a cause within the city, a good cause. And if we cannot personally do the manpower, we will be donating that money to a company or a charity that is already doing so within the city.
That's very dope, man. Seriously.
What do you think there's some things that you could use or that you need help with to help your goal become reality?
You read my mind.
Honestly, the thing that helps us the best is just word of mouth, getting our name out there, because that goes to the P and promote. How many times have we seen companies in Detroit, they have a great idea, they're doing wonderfully, nobody hears of them, and they die within a year or 2 years because nobody knows what they're doing. So the best thing you can give me is word of mouth. Get what we're trying to do out there, show people the things we have done, that type of thing.
Got it.
Oh, I just want to see this again. I really.
You said you don't want it, Jordan. I can have it if you don't want it.
Stop.
You said you didn't want it. I got it. You can give it to me.
The slogan is just so dope, man. Like, hustle until it happens. Like, that's keep going through whatever you're dealing with. And again, when you mentioned, just speaking of Detroit, a large portion of Detroit is impoverished. So if you're going to do anything, you got to make it through whatever you got to make it through. You got to hustle until it happens, literally. And I don't know, I just like that you're pushing that kind of vibe, that kind of positivity in the city, man. It's beautiful.
This is dope. So, Randy, let me ask you something. For you to be somebody that works in the community, what advice would you give Ms. Hall to help with her ventures?
Whew. Give me a second, y'all. I'm going through an attitude thing because I didn't have my glasses. I'm trying to read and I can't see jack.
Oh, Lord.
Man, the best advice I give anybody, especially when it comes to community things, is it's got to be genuine. People gotta recognize real. I love that song lyric, but it's true. It's one of the truest statements in the world. Real, recognize real, even if you don't agree with it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't agree with somebody doing, you recognize it. I believe that in a community like Detroit, people got to understand that just don't pacify people, because that's temporary. Pacifying people will be temporary. Like you can give them, we'll sit here, we'll give you food, or we can sit here and we can show you how to grow food. We can show you how to expand. We can sit here and give you stipends and give you money, or we can show you how to develop a skill set so you can know how to make your own money and to sustain over a period of time. Like I said, I love everything that you're saying about it. And like I said, being in this, especially in the Detroit community, for myself, when you have to work going back and forth, I know, Jordan, you working on Rochester Hills, you know what I'm saying? And I've jumped back and forth working, just because with mentoring kids, I have to go wherever their school may be. And the biggest thing that I see that separates communities from a community to community is support. That's it. It's not just support. You go from one community where it's a parent-teacher conference or a PTA meeting, it's standing room only.
Mm-hmm.
Every parent is there. Parents that work 12-hour shifts are there.
They're there.
Parents that don't have any jobs there. It don't matter. Then you go to another community, you lucky to get 5 parents for a school full of 1,500, 2,000 students. That's ridiculous. So, and when I've seen groups come all the time, it's funny, and I feel like I'm grateful to God because of the position that I'm in terms of my word is good out in the streets, and that's the best way I can say. You know what I'm saying? If nobody, you can't. Everyone, we won't have not even the person that don't like me can't say nothing bad about it. They can't say that like, man, Randy is this. Randy can be an a-hole, but everything he do is on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen them come and go, and I could tell people what groups are gonna come and go because I can see by what they do. I'm like, you'll see them in there like, oh, I want to get here. I had a young lady, and this is funny. She was running for city council in our district, in the 3rd district. She fresh out the gate, fresh behind the ears, watered all the way down. And we had a big at our community center over there at Conner Creek. We had we invited everybody that was running for council person to come over there and talk. They all came. She got up there and we started asking her the hard questions. I'm like, can you name any of the groups in this area that have been over here putting in the work? And she couldn't name one. That's insulting to a group of people that have been over in this area, one of the biggest parts of the city, where you can't name one group. And I remember after it was over with, because like you said before about older people, I like who asked that question about the older people and the younger people. That when that breakdown, these groups are groups that have been in the community for forever, for a long time. They're established and they stay around because they work, because they know how to integrate old ideas with new ideas and make everybody play their part. So when talking to her after it was over with, I could tell she was down, and I said, "You forgot rule number one when you're going out here in politics. You got to know the people. If you don't know the people, you're gonna get labeled out. You're gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying, an outcast, and nobody gonna want to deal with you no more. So what you need to do now is now you need to get involved in the community, and not just for like, okay, oh man, Mackenzie came back. We'll wait for Mackenzie to come back. But that's one of the basis things. I saw her thing going haywire for a minute, Mackenzie. I don't know where she at with. It looked like it was. I don't know if she maybe the FBI interrupted it.
They said she's trying to help the community. Get her out of here.
Yeah, she talked about that, but yeah, man, it's give us a second. I did. Oh, just to let y'all know, I sent y'all a link to the YouTube.
Yeah, I posted it on the Unfiltered page and my page.
Okay, so y'all can put that on y'all page and Unfiltered, because like I said, I just can't get on that bad boy. Y'all should be able to get on there though.
No, I posted it. That's when you send me the link. I just posted the link.
Yeah, so that's all that was. Is we gonna
you should go check it out. Oh, you can't get on Facebook.
Yeah,
criminal.
So, I know, right? This is, but we're waiting for her to get back on. But I love her. I love these gifts, man. These mugs.
Yeah, these mugs and the fit snug to make my arms look bigger because they have small arms.
This is really cool. I like this, man.
I told y'all she made that good. Whatever size you are, right in between, that perfect fit. It feel good.
God, for real.
I like this, man. This is cool, veins.
For real. I think we should go ahead and probably on the next show maybe have her on as a guest again, so she can kind of get that interaction. Maybe. What you think? What y'all think?
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we ain't on live. But yeah.
I'm trying to see. Give me a second, y'all.
Everybody out there, give us a minute. We are trying to make sure we get the kids back. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I don't know everything that was going on. We've been trying to get back in contact with Mackenzie. Right now, we're not getting no information. Just hope everything's all right. At this point, what we do, what we'll do again as well is that we'll try to reconnect with her, redo that, redo this interview because it was just getting good. 43 minutes in. And we'll redo it again. We just don't want to keep it going and keep y'all looking at a black screen of our avatars while we try to figure out what's going on. So we'll try to do hopefully we'll get in contact with her. Hope everything's all right. Like I said, I didn't get any response from her as well. Hope that anything go down and stuff like that. But we'll definitely try to touch base with her again to see if we can get her back on here for this interview process. But but just to continue on, what I do like, especially about what I say, and what I thought was real key about what she said, and something we can really touch base on, is where some people might get upset because they feel she's not from the city. Why would she have any vested interest in the city to why she wanted to do this stuff? And that was one of the questions I wanted to bring up to her. But just with working with people, period, people got to understand that the biggest city in the state, everything flows out of it. So as that big city goes, the rest of the state goes. I don't care what nobody says. I really commend her, and I can't wait till we be able to touch base with her. Like I said, I hope everything all right, Mackenzie, and we'll try to touch base with her again. I'll give her another text, call, messenger, and things of that nature. But just touching base on this, man. As y'all heard, her brand is coming out, man, and we got to support each other. And like I said, I'm hugely on supporting people, not just for just for any old reason, but just getting to the point where if it's good, then support it. If it's good, if it's not just with everything, but I love the fact that what she got it and what it stands for, and I appreciate the cool offerings that she gave us, and I can't wait to use my discount and see how many people I can put up on that brand as well.
Sure.
Promote.
Yeah. So we as you can tell, we here we big into support. We have been saying this since we get out here that we big on supporting brands and things of that nature, especially when you're a good brand. I ain't talking about bad brands. I ain't talking about where the business that you conduct is horrible. And you want like, hey man, let me just put a brand on your show. Like, no, we don't want to do that. But I want to support people that normally don't get all the you know what I'm saying, the lights and everything else like that. So okay, I'm sorry. Okay, she said, I'm so sorry. My phone turned off, updated. Okay, so her phone was taking an update. Started taking an update. So that means she got an Android like myself.
Told you about the Androids.
iPhones, baby. Oh, y'all should be looking at the score. Y'all know what I'm doing.
Response back from her, so hopefully she get ready to come back up. Even if she do come back up, I'm gonna ask her about doing a part 2 as well, because I want to get into it because there's so many more questions I want to ask her in regards to it. But until she get back on, it looks like she's trying to get back on now. So once she pop up, we'll pop her on there. Just a quick question to you all. Well, one of the things that you noticed, one of the things she brought up that's factual, maybe a little numbers a little bit off, but we did have population clearly over 1 million at one time. When you see that Detroit at one time was a city that was in the top 10 for population in the country, And now you see that I think we barely really even touching 7,000, if that now.
700,000. Yeah, that's where it is, around 700,000.
Around 700,000. But at the same time, as I do notice that people kicked out of here, and we notice that the money wise and things that's going on, as many things as people saying the opposite about what's going on to Detroit. And like I said, I hope when she get back on here, because I got some really good questions for her. What I've noticed as well is the growth financially in the city. And I think people are not, a lot of people are getting kind of lost in the sauce with that aspect, not understanding that some of the richest cities in the United States are not hugely populated cities. You got places like New York City, of course, which is like, I think New York City is not only one of the biggest cities, if not the biggest in the United States, it's one of the biggest cities population-wise in the world. I mean, you know, when you can easily get over 6 million people in that small, in this small area, almost island type, in 5 boroughs, that's incredible.
It's crazy.
So, when I think about that, and you think about what's another one? Chi-Town, another big city, LA, and
Houston and Dallas.
You know what I'm saying? What do you think in them cities? And I'm looking this up information because I'm out of curiosity. I want to see what the 10 most populated cities in the country is. Do you think that with the growth, like I said, if you haven't been downtown Detroit in the last 5 years, you won't even recognize it. And I'll tell anybody that you won't recognize it. It's totally different. It's a melting pot, but it's a lot, you know, it's a lot more of one color that's gotten down there now. And I've seen spaces and worked in buildings where I'm like, they paying about 2 G's, easy 2 G's for 1 bedroom apartment. Easy. And I was like, man, this is what it is, and this is where it's going, you know, this is how it is. Now you start to see the workout of it. When you think about this, because every time I'm looking at the camera and I'm looking at the state, I love it. When you think of, I know we all we love that this slogan that she got. I love it.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, just working downtown when you just see like the other buildings, and like it's a building right next to mine. They pay about upwards to $5,000 a month just for rent. Like it's ridiculous, and it's just like the attractions and restaurants and stuff down there. It brings money to the city, but it doesn't bring resources to the inner city. If you know what I mean. So I think that's one of the problems. Like, it's a whole lot of money downtown, but that's where it ends when it comes down to Detroit, unless it's coming from specific organizations or people to go ahead and put money into the community.
I feel it again. I mean, the hope for me, there's only a few people that's getting rich, you know, on downtown for sure. But I don't know, what I'm hoping is that it can branch out without pushing the people out of, you know, the actual city, because downtown is downtown, but you can't just fix the downtown. You got to start, all right, we got to go into these areas slowly and rebuild those, which they are actually. They knocked down a whole bunch, put condos up, townhouses up, and it continues to spread further and further. But again, I think the big thing is doing that without kicking the people out. So they're going to have to set a whole bunch of legislation to try to, you know, mitigate that.
Do you think the ultimate plan is to basically take back Detroit if they're not going to rebuild it, you know, for others?
No, I think, again, a lot of white men are going to get really rich by buying, you know, the city up. I'm talking small beat up homes and rebuilding whole cities, whole blocks, you're gonna start getting new development, new subdivisions, things of that nature.
Yep.
And Detroit's it's gonna be damn. Like you can't. People not gonna live in Detroit no more. They're gonna live in Taylor, Westland, because them prices gonna start going up, man. That's why it's really important to buy right now. Why it's low. You may not see that return for real, till 10 years from now or something. But those people that live downtown in those midtowns and things and had those beautiful homes, they sold to people offering what? And skedaddle. But yeah, either way, I do like the growth. It's really nice to see. And it does give a lot of young people the aspiration to, hey, I want to do better, because you see the city doing better, you want to do better yourself.
Mm-hmm. Now, the comment that she made, and I wanted y'all to comment on it, she said that old people, or older people, I want to say just old people, or just younger people, that one of the hard lessons is that old people, what do you think is the disparity from some? Because it ain't all. It ain't all old people, it ain't all young people. But why do you think it's so hard, where it seems that it's almost like this mindset gap difference between older and young people when it comes to evolving and working together as a community to get ahead? Because it is there. The gap is there.
I think, all right. I think the thing is that with older people, a lot of them don't like change. That's the big one. And when they see how things worked before, they think it's going to work again that same way. But once things change, especially like you have the younger coach who understands why things change or can adapt to it, all people like, nah, it works this way. But then they'll understand, like, hey, this is a whole new day of society. It's how things work now. Also, with the younger people, they don't appreciate the things that got them there, or appreciate the things that got them to where they are today. So it's like, okay, well, this is the way. I ain't gonna worry about the older way or how they think, whatever, or their vision is. So it's just a whole separation. And like, I think this work, and I don't like change. And hey, think change got to happen, and this is how it's gonna work now. So that's the whole mix up with them.
So for me personally, maybe because I'm a little more old in my head, I think a lot of it's the young people, like especially in Detroit. It's a little not a little different. It's a lot different. Like you can't say nothing to them, and that's just hard to build. You talking nice, they still could be rude. It's like it's just with so many people, and them the young men, they angry, man. They angry, and they pop off at it's different. It's different, and it would really truly take the younger generation to take a step back and actually show that respect to that older generation, for them the older generation to say, okay, but they've been talking to them for years, and a lot of the heads so thick, they said, oh, I ain't messing with it, and they just left it alone. So again, I think that respect has to come in, man. When that does happen, it makes things a lot easier for the old people. They ain't trying to destroy nothing. They're not going to accept everything you do, but again, what I come across, they ain't trying to do no harm. But again, them young people, they be on some straight bullshit, man. So that's my thought.
And you know what? First of all, Mackenzie, we're so glad that you're back.
I will have iPhone tomorrow. Don't you worry.
Hey, join the team.
Don't even worry about that.
So what we just talking about just now is the question that Mac had asked. That was Mac, right? That originally asked this question. Is talking about the gap. Somebody got a buzzer, and what it was is that
I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android that updates whenever it wants to.
I already know it is. I'm really
that nigga down there. I'm snitching.
I already know it is. But we were just talking about what is bridging that, what is causing that rift in the gap. Matt brought up some real good points in regards to it. I think Jordan point is kind of where I lean into a little bit more. In my personal viewpoint, I think that don't get me wrong, you got some very, very stubborn old people who are like, they don't trust young people. Could it be some of it for good reason? Yep. Other ones, I'll be like, no. But I really do believe that for the most part, I'm kind of like what George said. I've had an old soul my whole life. So I take heed to what, what I'm saying, I hear somebody telling me. And don't get me wrong, you're gonna have some things you're gonna try out yourself. You're gonna be like, man, nope, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do it. Forget what you're talking about, I want to do this. And that's everybody. But I think where a lot of the more older and experienced folks is not so much the respect that someone's showing them, but it's in terms of, man, where do you think, in what world, that you're going to do this fast, this quick, this early, almost like you want to have the Cliff Note version of success. And I think that's where a lot of old people get upset at the audacity of some young people to think, really actually think that I'm supposed to be successful. Right there. There you go. I didn't have to jump through the hoops. I didn't have to go through the struggle. I didn't have to do anything. I'm supposed to have it right now. Here, it's supposed to be here right now. And I see so many, like, what Jordan, what you saying? These dudes angry. Any type of criticism you give, it's hating. If you don't agree with everything they say, you hate. And
or you're Karen.
It's crazy. Every young woman, it's not. Let me not put it. It's not all of them. Because like I said, I mentor. I'm saying, I mentor, like you're saying, hundreds and thousands of young men and women, and I try my best to, like, anybody know me know I'm not a kiss. I don't kiss no behind. Matter of fact, I'm more close to say I'm the kind of guy that you get in the water with me, you can't swim, you might drown. I'm like, come on, let's go. And what I've just seen so much is that it's such this society, it's almost like this reality TV society, which I thought was a cliche before, but it's real. They really think that this is how it's going to be. You're going to get in there, this is going to happen, it's going to happen this fast. It's the Zuckerberg theory. I'm going to be like Zuckerberg. I'm going to have this idea, it's going to blow up, and I'm going to be a millionaire. It don't happen like that. Zuckerberg is an oddity. I don't understand why people don't get this. That does not happen every day. I know me and Jordan had private conversations about this. It don't happen like that every day.
No.
Oprah Winfrey, who's a billionaire, that happened in time. Like, here we go, chop, 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 step by step, everything else like that. And most young people, they like get an idea. And what you said, Mackenzie, talking about, and I want your theory on this too about why the gap, but is they get an idea. Like I give people this idea. I'll tell them this. I've had with Just My Clothing line, that didn't happen overnight. I had to make sure that I had all my ducks in order, and I was working on it for a long time. I just didn't tell everybody about it because I'm a worker. You know what I'm saying? I'm working behind the scenes. There we go. I got to get it together. And then when I felt that was time to get ready and everything, then it came out, and then boom. And I'm grateful as all get out that the support aspect of it surpassed what I thought it was going to be. It feels awesome when you got people sending in pictures. Hey, man, I love the gear. This and that. And it just ain't Detroit. It's, going from West Coast, it's awesome. It's a great feeling when you got people that just don't know you, that like it and just support. And because they like it. But some people will think that, bam, I did it. I got the idea. All of a sudden, it's going to happen right then and there. And I just, it just boggles my mind that people think that success comes before work. I'm like, I never understood that theory. You know what I mean? And everybody, they try to mimic and want to get behind and say, I want to be like that. I'm like, I don't know if you really want to be like that, because you should never want somebody else's success. That's I don't want his success. I'm gonna use him as motivation. Like, man, I see what you're doing. I see how you getting out there doing it. But you got some people, they didn't like, even Eminem. You think about Eminem. Eminem didn't get on to almost 29, 30. Did he blew up? Like, oh, that's Eminem. Oh, yeah, it took time for that to happen. 50 Cent, the same way. All these people that people are like, oh man, this happen. Nowadays, it's more, I ain't gonna get all in that. Mackenzie, what do you think? What is the gap that you noticed to why it seems like young people and some old people just can't bridge that gap to get us so close and working together to get, getting the success that we should be having, especially in our community?
Well, I think you're definitely right. A lot of young people think that, well, a lot of people in general seem to think that you're going to become an entrepreneur and you're going to be rich within the first year and all your dreams are going to come true. But what a lot of people didn't see when Rep Detroit was doing homeless giveaways because Mackenzie was working a 9-to-5 job to pay for it. What a lot of people don't see is the back end of things where you think you become an entrepreneur and you work 1 hour a day and you go home like a CEO. When I became an entrepreneur, I started working 15, 16, 17-hour days because I no longer have a company name to fall back on. I have my name, and if I'm not successful, it's because I'm not putting the work in. And I think, what is it, Gen Z? Millennials? I don't know if I'm a millennial or if I'm Gen Z. I think I'm right on the both.
How old are you, Mackenzie?
I'm 25. I just turned 25 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she's
yeah.
When you be
Right in that middle, yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're right on the edge of getting kicked out of millennial.
Yeah.
But I know, how long was the running joke that millennials want everything handed to them? That didn't come from nowhere. I can tell you that. That didn't come from nowhere. But I think also it's human nature to think that people are going to do what's best for them because it's human nature to do what's best for you. So you have these older people that are looking and they're like, these young people, they just want to take my city and they want to turn it into the next casino. They want to turn it into the next. But I can tell you this, if I were starting a business because I wanted to become a millionaire off of it, this wouldn't be it, because this business gets more money out than this is not the business to do that. So I think it's all about trust, honestly. And you gotta, if you're ever gonna bridge that gap, you gotta understand that there's gotta be trust between all parties. But it's like what you said, how everybody wants to be the next big thing to make some money. I've had so many people ask me, like, do you hope you're gonna be the next Detroit versus everybody? And I don't, because while Detroit versus Everybody is a great company, right? If I were to say Detroit versus Everybody, that indicates that I care what everybody is doing. I'm not worried about what everybody is doing. I'm worried about what Detroit is doing. I'm worried about Detroit versus Detroit. So no, I don't want to be the next Detroit versus Everybody, because I don't care. I don't care what everybody is doing. I care about what I can do to help a city that needs help. I care about Detroit versus Detroit. But I can also say, if you're a young person and you want to get into something like this just to show old people, like we have the new money, old money argument, entrepreneurship is not for you, because that's not what it is. Entrepreneurship should stem from somewhere genuine, should stem from a passion that you have. And if it doesn't, it's going to die like all these other companies have died. But I think when people see that you're genuine and that you're doing things for a genuine reason, that gap all but disappears.
I really like what you touched on, because when you even bring up the Detroit versus Everybody guy, that hey, he's not a bad person to look up to or look at as far as where he's at right now, but you may not be happy being where he's at. if you're happy doing what you're doing, no matter what the result is that's the key to success right there. It's your lane. So like, I definitely commend you on what you just said.
And you know what's else that I want to bring this up too. You know what I'm saying? I've met with this cat before because he used to come to our community meetings. And it just shows you the power of an idea and what happens. Think about it. Because you both know because we do it. The press and what you got to do for that, that's really one of the easiest press jobs ever. Boom, swoop, swoop, swoop. Now, my next thing I want to talk about is the power of a name. Because now, on the back of the very same shirt that we were spending $25 for.
Ridiculous.
He got another name. Jordan, I love Jordan, man. I love Jordan. You put Gucci on the back of it, and it jumps to what? 350?
$350.
$350. That, and no hate on his name. I don't know a lot of people that's gonna buy it, but I just show you the power of a name. And like I tell everybody, that's why you always got to make sure that you keep a good name for yourself. That's what the leeway I'm trying to go into. That you want to make sure that your word is your bond.
See, and I know this is no hate to the guy who owns Detroit versus Everybody, because I know he's done great things for the city as well. But I can say myself as a consumer, when I see you sell your design to Gucci, it's not genuine to me anymore. It's a money grab, because why can you sell the same shirt for $39.95 that you also need to, for some reason, sell for $350 other than you want more money for it? So to me, it just wasn't a genuine move. There comes a point for every business owner where you make decisions based off of your morality. And for me personally, that's just not a move that I would have made, just because of appearance's sake.
So let me ask you this. So just from seeing the things that he did, it came from Detroit versus Everybody to racism versus everybody to Chicago versus everybody. Like, everybody does these things with these shirts. So let's just say he felt like the brand was dying or whatever, and this is the only way for him to kind of get it to where he wanted to be. Do you still think that he kind of sold out his name?
Yeah. If your brand was dying, a $350 Gucci shirt, nobody would buy it if your brand was dying. I think his brand was doing extremely well, and I think somebody from Gucci went to him and showed him a check, and it looked pretty nice. And people forget, the Detroit versus Everybody thing started from a song. That started from a song where all these rappers from Detroit got on the song. That's not. And I hate talking about other business owners because it's just not my style. But this didn't come from anybody. This came from a personal idea that I wanted to do for people. And I honestly think the fame of the Detroit versus Everybody, a couple things, not only the Gucci shirt, and that's one thing, but what is the reason that Detroit versus Everybody sells Tulsa versus Everybody shirts? For what? Detroit versus Everybody sells Chicago versus Everybody. They sell Orlando versus Everybody. They sell all these different places. And to me, it all goes back to, like Randy said, what your name. And it's just, it doesn't, I've never bought a Detroit versus Everybody shirt. It just doesn't seem genuine to me.
So personally, I didn't want to knock it, but his business was never, anything to, at least from what I know, that, okay, I'm donating back, I'm doing for Detroit. It was just his business. He's trying to make every damn dollar he can pull. So I don't know. I just wanted to point that out.
Is that wrong?
Y'all pointing that out. Yeah. And that's the good part. And I'm sorry, because every one of y'all is pointing out that good point about it. And it's just like one of the best wrestlers all time, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, used to say, everybody got a price. So, I mean, that's what he just wanted to do in regards to it. And like I said, I agree with what you said, Mackenzie, in regards to it. and we ain't gonna give him that much time because he ain't paying no bills here. But
But to answer your question, Mac, is it wrong of him? No, because this is a capitalistic country. We created capitalism to be what it is. So we can't get mad at people for capitalizing off of capitalism. But do I think you should capitalize off a city that's hurting to make money? No.
No. There you go. I love it. I love you, Mackenzie. I love you.
That's why I'm a bad person, because if I could sell some shit they gonna buy, I'm gonna sell that shit all day.
But you know what? It's so funny. I think what it is I'm somebody when I get ready to talk, and this is the next question I got for you, Mackenzie, because I want to know a little bit. We want to get a little bit more into you too, Mackenzie. So I agree with you. I am so a capitalist. I'm sorry, and I've told people this every time we get into a discussion. I like to call it the Starbucks discussion. And they just say, like, I just can't not believe, why would you have that? I'm like, because I am someone who says, if you put in the work, if people buy your product, why should you not be able to make the money? And why should I have to apologize for doing it? Mm-hmm. I don't force it. And this is where my discussion, I know a lot of people gonna get mad at me about this. I've never fought at Jordan one time about kids lining up at 12 o'clock midnight for a gym shoot. You wanna know why? Because that's the parents' fault. Number one. I don't know why you would sit there and do that. Personally, you know what I'm saying? When we was younger, I think my generation, I'm the beginning of millennials. I'm the first year of the millennials, 2000.
You out of here now, man.
Yeah. So
it's 22 to 38.
Forget.
You passed that, dog. You about to be 40.
After again, millennials 22 to 38. You out of there, Randy.
Okay. So
hey, don't try to include yourself in our generation.
So wherever I would be at. When I'm talking about the beginning year of the millennials, shut up, y'all. Y'all suck. But when we came out, I don't know if people was, when I first heard it, and I heard it all the time, because I'm one of the people that would say it, like millennials, like what you said, because, they be like, millennials want to have things handed to them. I'm like, that's not all millennials. I think that got toward the very tail end, because most millennials in the beginning, we had the toughest time. We came upon 2008, we came upon only second to the Great Depression time frame. We came out of school. We had just got into them jobs, but then it was the bubble had burst. It was already bursting. And when people say that's capitalism, I'm like, no, that's not capitalism. That's had nothing to do with capitalism right there. Because I agree with making the money. I don't apologize. Like I said, with Jordan, first of all, Jordan get a big fat check from Nike. That's number one. Right off the bat, they said, look, just for you, we was going to give you right now this check. No matter what happened with your shoe and everything else like that. Like Jordan should be one not sign the check. Or maybe parents should grow up and you can tell your kid no. No ain't hurt nobody. Matter of fact, no one saved my life a million times when I heard the word no. So I just think that when some people make money, stop blaming other people because of the fact that you got a lapse in judgment for what you consider important or not. I just don't, when I see that, I just don't agree with it. Like my daughter, I just told somebody not too long ago, when you have a brand, when you got a brand and people supporting you, making money from it, you ain't gonna make everybody happy. Somebody might not like it for whatever reason, or like what you do for whatever reason. I know that a lot of times, like when I'm out here and I'm working in people's houses, I'm doing, renovation, things of that nature. And I've changed through, the bad business decision by myself. When I say, look, nope, I need 25% up front. That's my going all the time. 25% up front before I even started. I call it the waste of my time fee. Because people will waste your time. Whether it be gas, that takes me to get up there to do an estimate for you. You know what I'm saying? Or in the middle of it, you ain't got the money because I'm going to be done when I'm saying I'm done. So you just need to be prepared when it's time to pay up. But some people would say, I felt like that because when they say about, black business, and I hate the term. I feel like just black business. I hate that term. And I was like, man, look, I just want you to support my business, period. That's it. Just support my business. You can, if you want to say just black, I'm like, no, I want to be better than that because, like I said, braggadocio just ain't black. And I'm grateful for that. It's white, Latino, the brand and people that's buying it, it ain't got no, that's why I made sure that when I saw people who were sitting in their pictures, I wanted them to see that it was black, it was white, it was women, it was, it was everything. So
I feel like the term black business is kind of the same as like black on black crime. I feel like it's used to kind of downplay the things people are doing. It's not black on black crime, it's just crime. It's not black business, it's just business. So
I agree with that for sure.
Because I think it's just proximity. Every time we talk about crime, I'm like, it's the proximity. If people live in a certain area and it's crime, if it's mostly that people, that's going to be committed a crime. But that's a whole different discussion for another day. But
also, people use the term black business.
The same thing.
To speak down on businesses, to say, they didn't have good customer service because they were a black business, and we should give them more leeway because they're a black business, which I feel is not the case.
I feel like if you're in a community and you provide a service to that community, you shouldn't play your services down because of the community that you're in. You still should be having the same good service, period. Because it's a shame, because I'm one of the people that's guilty of it. I would drive totally outside of Detroit to go to a business that's in Detroit, but because I'm not getting the same value of my dollar, like I don't feel appreciated. But then when I go out to Troy and I go to a store, the very same store, I feel like they value my money. I get the customer service that I respect, because I'm always like, when I was younger, I worked in sales all the time. When I was working at Foot Locker, I was one of the best salesmen in Foot Locker, but because I understood people. I understood that somebody walking in the door in overalls, paint, and everything else, with somebody like, man, I ain't about to talk to him. I'm like, you stupid. That dude is a worker. He's coming to spend money. He's a worker. He works hard for his money. Go over there, bam. I wouldn't care what it was. Sock, boom. You need socks, boom. Shoes, this and that. And they wonder, why your commission is so much? Because I talk to the people. I know the people. People would avoid somebody that came in there and talking about they don't look like they got money. How somebody supposed to look they got money? Like, y'all don't really know money. Because I see that guy coming there, the painter, the plumber, the electrician.
He was just doing something.
You know what I'm saying? He just wasn't getting work. He coming in to buy that dude, and I still remember the cat. At least one of them. He came in there because he was buying 3 of his kids of a pair of Jordans. 3. He's like, I'm coming here buying them. I need them, blah, 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 in this size, and this be to go. But like you were saying, it's just a business aspect of it, the business tone. And that's one of the things, and I know probably, I got a question for you too about that, Mackenzie. When I do business, and I tell people all the time, I'm like, you're not going to find a lot of people that do business like me, because I'm nothing but professional. You won't find nothing short of professionalism with it. This is how we're going to do it. I'm not going to lowball you, showball you, anything else like that. I'm going to treat you the same way you treat the janitor, the same way you treat the president of the company, and you'll be straight. So in your business, I know that you said that, a website and everything is about to come up, and all the work that you put in. And personally, because I know what you're talking about, because it is a lot of work that you put in, even with doing Unfiltered. I know everybody think that, this is shooting cool. Y'all don't know the expenses that I got running Unfiltered. You know what I'm saying? Whether, whatever the streaming sources, the clothing and everything else like that. Like you said, that come out of pocket because I'm a worker. You know what I'm saying? And at the same token, is what I'm passionate about. And I think that's the number one thing about business. If you're not passionate about your business, if you're not passionate about nothing that you do, it's going to show. And, what I would ask you in terms of is that I know that you said when with your baby father, that you came, you saw the community, and you saw the things that state me, and it made you, I don't want to say that, but made you have a coming to Jesus moment a little bit, is that they like to say. But also I know that you said you got a couple of other businesses. So I know me and you both running like neck and neck when we talk about doing entrepreneurship. And one of the hardest things I tell people about working for yourself, because some people will say to me all the time, people love counting pockets. I despise that more than anything else in the world. I don't like nobody counting my pockets. And they'll just say like, oh, Randy, you could just go ahead and quit this and you go ahead and do this. I'm like, well, when you stop counting my pockets, like, I'm saying, you laying in a bed next to me, then we can talk. But I think one of the hardest things is that morning, and you probably know what I'm talking about, because the morning when you get up and you don't want to absolutely do nothing. You're like, you know what? This is one of them days I don't want to do nothing. I'm sleeping in. I'm gonna call off. I'm not printing nothing. I'm not picking up no orders. I'm not doing anything. I'm tired. This is, it's just because I've had those, and it'd be like, it's the press of getting out of bed.
Yeah.
To be like, you gotta do this. And nobody ever see it because I don't talk about it with everybody. It's like that inner battle inside your own head. Because the hardest person, the critic that I have is Randy Johnson Jr. And I'm laying in there and I'm like, ugh. And it's like the same motivation to get up, and I use all the time. For me, it's my baby girl. Every time I think about the thought of quitting, I say her name, and then I say, I say my mother, and I say my brother, and I say all of them, I say everybody that's here, count. So get up and let's do this. And so I want to know with yourself and everything that you're doing, what is that motivating factor that feeds you like crazy and does not allow you to quit?
Like, so here's the deal, like with entrepreneurship, right? I cannot get up if I don't want to. That's fine. I'm not going to get wrote up. My business is going to close. That's what's going to happen. I'm not going to get a write-up and then I can get written up 3 more times. That's not how this works. But yeah, I cannot take orders. I cannot get out of bed. I cannot come here, and you will never see this business again. It's more serious than just because you're not, like I said, you're not backing. You don't have a company to bank on. I can't bank on the fact that DTE is going to do well, so I'm going to get a paycheck. I can't bank on the fact that Apple is going to put commercials on TV so people will buy iPhones so that I can make iPhones and make a check. I have to bank on the fact that, because like something that a lot of people don't know about me, I'm not an extrovert by nature. I had to force myself to be extroverted, or else nobody was going to know about me. Because who's going to hear about me if I don't talk about me? Who's going to up me if I don't up me? You know what I mean? So, yes, entrepreneurship is just as hard as a regular job. But on those days where I don't want to get out of bed, what I think of, yes, I think of my kids. But with this particular business, more so what I think about is, with this business, I will be able to give other people's kids what I can give my kids. And that's what gets me out of bed for this business, is that I will be able to help other parents give their kids the life that my kids just automatically knew. Because some people's kids don't just automatically know that life. And that to me is not fair. So what gets me out of bed is knowing that I can help people get to a point that I was just automatically given. That's what gets me out of bed.
That's real. That's real. I like that. That was really real.
Were there any other experiences that made you had a passion for helping people?
So my mom, I'm not going to cry. My mom was actually one of those people that's like the people that I'm trying to help. So my mom, she lived in Detroit for a lot of her life. And I was removed from my mom's home in Detroit for religious reasons, and that's how I ended up in the suburbs. I was my mom's replacement. I grew up in the same religion that Jordan did. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. So I was my mom's replacement when she decided she wanted to leave the religion, and because she was with my father and they had me, they decided that they were going to come take me and put me in her place. And my uncles were now my brothers, and my grandparents were now my parents. And until my mom told them that she would come back to the religion, she struggled. She lived in a studio apartment in Detroit that didn't have running water, while her own kid had the best that you can imagine, having a private school education and everything that she no longer had access to. So my mom, I think about the things that my mom went through, and that it pushes me every day to be able to do that.
Appreciate you sharing that.
Well, I ain't gonna let you get too quiet so you can focus on. Normally, when you get quiet and you start looking up, you start to thinking about some stuff. You got to keep on talking to keep from thinking. But like what I'm now with just hearing and everything else for you is I don't even really think. I mean, it's cool that your baby daddy showed like, man, all this stuff like this, but to me, I don't think Rep Detroit really started with that. I think it was more personal when you saw the conditions of what your mother was in, and you want to do that. Now, when you just say it like that, it was more this and that. So, I think that's like, it sounds like that to me is the bigger passion for you. That not only that you see the stuff going on, but I think that people, first of all, to have passion for something. You know how like people could say, I don't think people really know love until you get your heart broken. And
I think the opposite. I think the opposite. I think love when you're actually in love.
Yeah.
Because the heartbreak thing, it'd be all kind of different, But when real love,
school them, Jordan. School that old Negro.
And I'm saying, but this is what I'm saying. Because I understand what he's saying like that, but I ain't been in love a lot in my life. You know what I'm saying? At all. I can count.
Same here.
And when I mean that I ain't no love until I knew the heartbreak, is because I didn't know how much I cared about it until it wasn't there no more. Like you knew you loved somebody, but when you ain't got access to them at all anymore, or to a situation, or when you found out the closest person to you backstabbed you because you thought y'all was on a certain level, and now you see this like that heartbreak is crazy. But what is this? And okay.
We'll keep getting on him, man. That's that AT&T service, bro. You gotta get rid of
words of that.
Y'all gotta get rid of the Androids, and y'all gotta get rid of the AT&T.
Hey, bro, look, I ain't gonna hold you though. I love this iPhone, but man, I can't rock with Apple, bro. We took Crystal Mac her desktop in, and we gotta get a whole $2,000 new computer because they can't put no more RAM in it. And Apple some scamming ass niggas.
But I'm saying Android junk gonna break anyway. Either way, I had
out of nowhere.
I had a personal question for Mackenzie, because again, you've been in the comments, all that good stuff. I just really gotta know. Why do you love broke men so much? What's so attractive to you?
Wow, that's the question you asked, bro. Why you love broke men?
I mean, what is the draw? Like, why?
I don't like broke men. I just don't need a man's money. So it doesn't matter what he's got going on. It doesn't matter. but I guess I like broke men. Mag, what did you want to ask me about your son, daughter?
Bet. Yeah, let's get to that. So look, right? So Ricky Smiley, he had discussed on the show about D Wade's
Right.
what's his child's name? Zaire or Zayed?
Yeah.
The one who's changing. Yeah, so basically he was saying that he saw a picture and this child had on acrylic nails like a little bit longer than yours, like a lot longer than yours, acrylic nails and a crop top, like you see everything from his stomach on down. And so his comment was is that I understand that, hey, you're changing your gender and that's fine, but for a 12-year-old to wear that's still inappropriate. And I feel like you're basically what's the word I'm looking for? Golly, what word I'm trying to say? Like you're just trying to go ahead and use this child. So another young lady said, well, you don't understand the things that people who are gay and people who are transgender they go through. So they have these certain exceptions to where, hey, they should be able to do these things. I'm trying to remember the word I'm trying to use, but basically that is acceptable for this child to do that because he's changing genders. So what do you think about that? Extorting. That's the word, extorting.
So here's the deal. I am part of the LGBTQ community, right? So I understand what members of the LGBTQ community go through because I am part of the LGBT community. When it comes to, I don't want to say something wrong. When it comes to sexuality with my personal children, I cannot tell my children that it is not okay for them to be lesbian, gay, whatever they want to be, when I myself have a sexuality that is not heteronormative. That being said, I have always made it clear to my children's father that I would have, so I'm very open-minded when it comes to sexuality, but I have always made it clear that I would have an uneasiness when it comes to the transgender part of it. Because like I made these kids and I was there and I understand it's a transgender is a mental, you don't feel how you appear. But I am also a very strict live and let live kind of person. And if Dwayne Wade does not have a problem with the way his son dresses, it kind of comes to like to the pro-choice, pro-life argument for me. I am pro-choice in the aspect that I myself would never get an abortion, but I also cannot tell anybody else what they can do with their body, right?
Yeah.
Would I be okay with my child at such a young age when you're not even fully mentally developed until after 25 making such a decision? Absolutely not. But in the aspect that I cannot tell somebody else what they can do with their kid.
So to kind of follow up with that, to kind of get what Ricky Smiley was saying. So, all right, so let's just take a normal 12-year-old girl. Would you think it would be appropriate for her to wear crop tops, acrylic nails, and to dress inappropriately? So
No.
why is it acceptable for this other child to do it?
It's not. Like me personally, as a young woman, I was not allowed to wear heels bigger than this until I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
I was not allowed to wear earrings bigger than this until in my ears until I was 18. It's not fair because you shouldn't be penalizing young women, but you also at the same time need to understand that there are predators that exist that do prey on young women and young men, and you need to take that into consideration when you're allowing your young children to dress like an adult. I feel like
I'm glad you included young man too.
Yeah, I feel like there are things that happen to adult women and adult men, and dressing your child like that when it's not even sometimes safe for adults to dress in certain ways.
Mhm.
I can only speak for me. I will not allow my daughter to dress that way or act that way until she is an adult. For
Okay.
her.
Okay. You know what? And I'm gonna be. You know what? It is so. What I notice, what I love about conversations, and I know Jordan. I know Jordan got to get ready to go in a minute. So I don't know if Jordan had a question for Mackenzie before we start hitting a little bit more for a little bit with Mackenzie. But I don't know if he went now, if that's what it is. Jordan, if you can hear me, just give me a message and let me know if you went to your meeting already, and we'll go ahead and let you, because I just wanted to see if you had anything for Mackenzie to say. I wanted to give you that opportunity to ask her something before we left.
We got to have a part 2 because we missed a good 15, 20-minute chunk when your phone, your update.
We
All
definitely do need a part 2.
I like men. That's all you want to do, Jordan.
Say it again.
All you want to do is tell me how I like broke men for 15 more minutes. That's all.
But no, we got to get you.
When you got to the LGBTQ thing and you started talking about the transgender and your feelings on it, it created even more questions for me. But we got to get a part 2.
I think we got to definitely continue that question though too, bro. I think that yeah. I'm definitely on board with that.
I'm not saying, I ain't saying we about to let you go. I know Jordan about to get ready to go.
Yeah.
But we gonna have a part 2 with you. So, but shoot, Jay, man, love you, bro. Man, we'll see you next week, man.
Unfiltered family. Mackenzie, thanks for coming on again, man. Come back though. Part 2.
All right. So, Matt, Mackenzie, and what I really want to say, because I want to really touch on that. This is so. What can I say? It's refreshing. Because the conversation that is really, really big is no one's saying, and you brought up so many good points. The biggest one you brought up is that how you said, look, and it's the kind of the exact same way that I feel in terms of this conversation, is kids barely know if they want to, what game, what thing, anything they want to do right now. They're not even functioning yet. Like you said, and a lot of people ain't paying attention. And I really hope people understand what you just said, is that they're not even fully developed. Our mind changes so many times between 25 to 11 about what you want to do, who you're going to be with, friends and everything else, where you want to be. And like you said, that big question is, would you feel like you said, we can't tell Dwayne Wade or anybody else what to do and how to raise their children. Mm-hmm. And it go back to the age-old discussion I tell people all the time, and this is just real. If God gave me free will, how in the world can I tell other people how to live and tell them they ain't got free will? Like, look, you choose what you're gonna do. And the other aspect of that is that you're accountable for what you choose. Yep. And if you can live with that and you fine, all right. So when you just had this discussion, and with this discussion, it just when Matt brought up the question, it's refreshing to be able to talk. It's like if you had, let's say if it was all, let's say you had all white people on here, you know what I'm saying? And they had one black person on here, and they wanted to tap dance around the question in the room, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, we ain't gonna talk about, we're talking about government, but we're not gonna talk about anything,
right?
History and anything like that. Like, hold on, don't. It's about conversations, because what happens is I notice that most people, they never have the conversation. Everybody go ahead and say, I assume you just like this because, you know, whatever it is. And I love the fact that how you just say, look, I'm a part of the LGBTQ community, but it's some things in myself as an individual that I have personal beliefs about and standards and morals about. I ain't judging nobody else or saying anything else. I'm just saying that I would have an issue with this. And then you give detailed information. This is why I love talking to you, Mackenzie. You get detailed. See, this is the part of the discussions people don't understand. You can say what you believe in and what you do, but you kind of got to, now the other part is why. And then somebody say, oh, no, this is what I do. Like,
yep.
You sound
and that's one thing I do respect too. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I respect that because what you just said, I absolutely 100% agree with you with. We just had to, we just discussed. I'm like, somebody like, man, could you be friends? Somebody like, man, friends. What you mean friends? I'm friends and support and love friends that I have. You know what I'm saying? I might be gay, lesbian, the things of that nature like that. Those issues don't. That's not what we were talking about here.
Right.
I believe when one group can be said to say, look, you can't have this because, but every other group can have it, there's something wrong with that.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about, so my perspective on this question. If you would have asked me this question before I had kids, so 4 years ago, I was so liberal 4 years ago that it was insane. I was that person that transgender people that's how they are from birth, and you can't tell people how to be, and just everybody can do what they want and this and that. And then I had 2 kids back to back. I had a daughter first, and then I had a son. And then I had a son who wanted to wear princess dresses because his sister was wearing princess dresses. And that was when my mindset changed. And I realized that I can't just allow kids to do whatever they want because they see somebody else doing it. It's my job as my kids' parents to make the best decision for them. If they were allowed to make their own decisions right now, they would be voting at 3 and 4 years old. They would be drinking and smoking at 3 and 4 years old. But it's my job
for breakfast.
Yeah, it's my job until they're 18 to make decisions for them. And I feel like I just turned 25. I'm still making poor decisions. I was making poor decisions last year, very poor decisions last year. I, as their mom, am just now getting to the point where I'm getting to that rounded out fullness mentality. I'm who I am as a person now. I'm fully developed. I'm 25. So how could I expect my child to know these emotions they're feeling and this mentality that they have at 3 and 4 and 5 and all the way up to 12 years old? Now, there's a reason minors don't get tattoos. There's a reason minors don't vote. There's a reason for it, a scientific reason, not just an emotional reason.
And you know what I will say about, I know because we talk about D-Wade a lot, you, me, and Jordan. But after last night we watched that video, the thing I will say is that it will be very difficult for us to be in his situation.
Absolutely.
And, just to be that father, like, wow, like I can't hide my son, but at the same time, I don't want, he may or may not agree with this lifestyle, but if he don't support us, like, you're not supporting me. So it's like, okay, well, I can support you, even though it's going to make me look this way. But if I don't support you, like, you're my child. And then the things that D-Wade had to do to even get his children in the first place from, his ex-wife, it's like he has that love. Like, I'll do anything to make sure y'all happy and protected. And now you have the child that's going through lengths to change his identity and gender, whether you support it or not, is that he has to go ahead and put himself on the line to basically make sure he supports his child, whether he's with it or not. And we obviously see that he's supporting his child, but at what cost? So like I said, it's a very difficult situation being D-Wade as a father right now, because behind closed doors, he may hate it. He may embrace it, but we never know. I just hope that I won't be in that situation to make those kind of decisions.
I think it's like just what you said and what Mackenzie just said. there is no handbook on being the perfect parent, because you know why? There's no such thing as the perfect parent. You get situations that are mind blowing to you. And I believe the biggest thing, like you just said, Mackenzie, is understanding that you are responsible for giving your kids the most accurate, truthful information, the level of discipline that they need to sustain themselves, and just being, the communication aspect is it's important in every aspect of life. You got to talk to your kids. You got to talk to them. And then you got to give them, I'm not saying co-sign on them or compromise, but you got to talk to them and let them know, look, this is why. This is the rationale. This is why right now they ain't doing it. Because right now you're in a moment. Sometimes you have to express to your kids, like, let me tell you something. You right now think it's the end of the world. Like when you're younger and you got a crush and you get your feelings hurt. I'm like, right now you think it's the end of the world. My dear boy, my dear daughter, you ain't even come close to it. You haven't lived life yet. I'm not saying the emotions that you feel, because emotions are reflective of how you feel at the moment. So they're not fake. This is how you feel at the moment. And you really just have to, like you just said, because like you can't allow your kids to just do everything just because they did. If that's the case, man, we'd be in so much turmoil right now. We think stuff is out of control now. Think about it. If my kid, just because he started playing Grand Theft Auto, wanted to go out with an AK-47 and thinking that, it's fake, we have to really, this is why we got to make sure that with our children, I don't care what you are, who you are, color, race, sexual orientation, we have to really guard our kids. We have to really protect our kids, because our kids are being exposed to 10 times the amount of things we have been exposed to.
Yep.
10 times the amount. And like you said, even with Dwayne Wade, like everybody would want to say how we would handle it differently. But in all their actuality, man, that's a case-by-case basis. And that's with everything. It's with the families and how would you want to feel about it, because you just don't know. Somebody could say, you can have somebody talking about, like even racism, no matter what it is. I don't like big people. You better not bring no white or black in this family. But look at where we at now in life. We got more multiracial couples we ever had than in history, because people are just embracing the fact of love. Look, I love this person. I ain't got it, nothing else, no matter what it is. I love them. And no matter what, I'm for anybody. Look, I feel like when you love somebody, you're doing them right. You ain't harming nobody. Why should your love for somebody be harming anybody else because you love them?
Right.
I feel like there's two things that people are forgetting in all of this discussion. Number one, back to your original question is, should he be dressing in a certain way? I feel like if you wouldn't allow a 12-year-old girl to dress like that, he should not get a special pass. Because
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not going to allow my daughter to dress like that. I'm going to allow anyone to dress like that across the board. That's number one. And number two, I think people forget that this is still a child. How would you feel about somebody speaking about your child? I had a family member say that because his child was transgender, that child deserved to be molested.
Wow.
Wait, can you repeat that last thing?
Wow.
He said at a family function that because Dwayne Wade was allowing his child to be transgender, that child deserved to be molested and sodomized.
Wow.
How would you feel? And so I asked, you know me, I said, so if I said that about your daughter that's sitting right there, right now, at this Thanksgiving dinner, you wouldn't tell me I had to leave?
Yep,
I mean,
you
with that Thanksgiving. So I feel like everybody needs to remember that regardless of your feelings on the LGBTQ community, regardless of your feelings on Dwayne Wade, that is a child.
That's a child. That's the biggest thing. And that's the biggest victim in this whole situation, because like you said, it's a child. And it's just more and more, like I said, because that's why, like I said, I know I said this whole night, they've been saying it on going for you. This is why we love talking to you. This is why we love every time you get online and you are on the show, because we know we're going to get some honest information from you. Mm-hmm. We know that you ain't got to agree with everything we say. We ain't got to agree with everything you say. We don't agree with everything each other say on the show, but we still talk to each other because it's called conversation. And this is what the world is missing, because one of the biggest problems in this world right now is that if someone doesn't agree with what you said, that makes them your enemy. That's a lie. That's a lie. We might not be like when somebody asked me about politics. Most blacks think I'm a Republican. And I'll be like, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I vote whatever is in my best interest. I listen. I go through, I look at their history. I do my research. And Mac know that I do my research. I tell people, I'm doing my research on this. Look, he said right now, he's talking about, when somebody say, oh yeah, I'm for, let's help. Let's get this crime bill in order. I'm like, hold on. You said you want to get a crime bill in order, but I've seen your votes on crime bills. You've always voted against it. Your history hasn't changed. You're not going to front me on. So, I think, like you said, it's just a conversation piece that is missing, where we have people of different. I believe it should be a representative of everybody at the table. It should be representation.
I don't know when it became a thing, but people now, if you don't agree with them or they don't agree with you, something as simple as Facebook, you're not friends with them anymore. They don't want to see. They don't even want to see your perspective. They don't want to know what it is. They don't want to see it if it doesn't agree with them. But here's the thing with me, like same with you, Randy. I'm an independent. My perspective flip-flops based off the information I have. If I don't have all the information, I may feel one way. And you may agree with me. But is it fair to not agree with me anymore because I learned more information and I don't agree with even my old viewpoint anymore? There you go. I mean, it's just, you're never going to grow if you're limiting yourself to the opinions that are the same as yours.
Absolutely.
You're going to stay yourself. Your whole
Hey, how many of us got deleted from Facebook from having an opinion or disagreeing with somebody? Like, it was a guy I was talking with. It was a white guy. I think it was between me and two other people that that was actually friends on Facebook that's black. And he said, "Which one of my friends on here believe that the Civil War started because of slavery?" And so I was like, "Well, why did it start?" And so we're going back and forth, and I'm like, I ain't say I disagree with you. I disagree with your point, but these are the facts. You're wrong. And which some of the points he was right. And the thing he was saying, well, our history books says different things. And then he deleted me, which I didn't care. But I just thought it was funny. Like when you say that, like when people don't agree with you, it's like, all right, why am I your friend? And it's like it's a totally effed up perspective. So
it's messed up. Because like I said before, I never trust people that are easily offended. That is a bad characteristic. That means that you're not grounded and you're not rooted in nothing. I was like, I'm an oak, you know what I'm saying? That's why I love the palm tree theory. Palm trees, no other tree on this planet got stronger roots than palm trees. That's why they can be built in tropical areas and withstand all those winds. They rooted deep. They'll sway with the wind, but they ain't breaking. They're like, okay, we with it. So I can listen to somebody's aspects on something and be like, okay, I hear what you're saying. I ain't gonna delete you. I ain't gonna even stop talking to you. I'm glad with this conversation because you get to hear your perspective. That's what should be heard. Hear their perspective. You may not agree with them, but then you can understand why they feel that way.
Yeah.
I think it's important too. Just because I acknowledge that I understand your viewpoint does not mean that I am changing my own. Just
exactly.
I can understand why you feel that way, but I'm still allowed to feel this way. But I can understand how you would feel that way because that's logic at that point. That's not anything else other than I understand what you're saying. I mentally am capable of getting what you're saying.
Yep.
And you're allowed to do it, not change it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I'm a black male. I'm not gonna understand, like I can understand, but I'm not gonna have the same perspective as a white guy or a gay woman or a gay man. We're not gonna have the same perspective. So that doesn't mean we can't still be friends or still get along or still be professional or be, cordial. Like you won't understand. Like I don't understand how it is to be a transgender man or a gay man or a white man. You will never understand how it is to be a black man. So like it's for you maybe to acknowledge that you understand, but don't mean you have to agree.
Absolutely. I think that is crazy. That's crazy.
I think honestly, at the end of the day, you mentioned it, Randy, at first. I don't speak out of the side of my neck. So if I have an opinion, know that that opinion was formed off of research, off of things that do not change. For example, I am multiracial. Randy, you saw the picture of my mom. My mom is white. If I want to talk about a problem with white people, I'm going to do so.
There you go.
Because my mom is what I can do that because I'm white. Well, I'm a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I have white in me. If I want to talk about an issue with white people, I'm going to do so. I'm Native. If I want to talk about a Native issue, if I want to talk about missing and endangered Native women, I'm going to do so. And you need to understand, and people need to understand that you come across certain people sometimes, myself included. I refuse to just say things because I'm not going to let people embarrass me with what the truth is. I'm not going to let you embarrass me because I didn't do my proper research. So if I'm going to say something, just know that it's coming from a place of facts. And I hate that it seems to be now in the era of social media that people can just say whatever they want and it becomes fact when it's not. So I think, honestly, I think social media has a lot to do with the whole and cancel culture. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to cancel you. So,
man.
I gotta say, look, wait, let's not touch on cancel culture. Let's save it for the next show. That whole thing, let's say that for the next show. Cancel culture.
We gonna say that.
Cancel culture. Let's take that to you next week. The treasure box.
We can get you back on here next week. We want to talk about cancel because that's a whole. We talk about that so much. I take Mackenzie. I tell you, man. I know we approaching. You know, we got about a good 5 minutes left, and I'm telling you, I could talk to you forever, Mackenzie, because it's awesome. It's awesome talking to you.
It don't even feel like 2 hours.
It don't even feel like 2 hours sitting here talking to you. I'm telling you. Okay, real quick. My goodness, because I don't want to touch cancel culture because we'll be on there another couple of stuff. But we always ask this question to all our guests. So far in the interviews, it always gets to be that moment, like for your Oscar moment or whatever people want to go say. But 2 questions I want to ask you. One, what is the toughest moment that you've ever had in your life that you thought that was your, you know what I'm saying, that, wow, this is the hard one. This is the hard one for me. And then 2, what is that moment where you, in your life where you just like, bam, even if it haven't happened yet, do you even walk it? What's that moment in life that you are just so anxiously awaiting for? You can take either one of them first. You go whichever way you want to go.
Okay. My toughest moment when I thought I would never recover was when I had went to live back with my mom for a little bit, and we ended up being the exact same person, and we didn't get along for shit. And when I was 17, she kicked me out, and I left home with nothing but my Tim Hortons uniform on and my Social Security card in my pocket. I had nothing. I had no changes of clothes. I had nothing. And I saw the rest of my life in that moment, and I saw that I was never going to have anything, that I wasn't. And at 17, how crazy do you sound at 17 that you are never going to recover from something? But it goes back to what you said about emotions in that moment. I never thought I would be able to recover, and I would never have a good life. And that sounds crazy to me right now at 25. But at the time, that was honestly my hardest moment in life. My thing that I'm most hopeful for is honestly just to see how much good I can do with my new business venture. Just to see how many people that I'm going to be able to look at someone and have them tell me, like, I never thought this would happen to me. I never thought I would get this stepping stone. I never thought I would get this help, and to be able to help them. That makes me really excited to have a platform to do so.
Oh, man. Dang. I tell you, it was everything I thought and more. And I still can't wait till next week to talk to you again. I tell you, we got a shirt for you too, Mackenzie, for Unfiltered.
Okay.
We are so, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm kind of beyond speechless. We appreciate you, just giving us these Rep Detroit shirts. And like I said, hustle till it happens, man. We
Make my chest look bigger.
One last thing
right?
I do want to say. So the reason I reached out to you guys, a big thing of mine is community over competition. And a big thing of mine is if I'm going to do it, we're all going to do it. And if I have an opportunity, we all have an opportunity. So that's why it is so important to me. It was so important to me to get you guys in these clothes so that other people can see. You can never have too many billboards for your message. And each person that wears this brand is a billboard for my message. So I just want to thank you guys so much for believing in a dream, in a mission that I see, that I think is so attainable. And I just want to thank you guys so much for believing in that goal of mine. Because you don't have to. Nobody has to. Nobody owes anything to you. And you like it, Mac. I can see you like it.
I really do. Like, I was gonna get this shirt to my wife, but I'm gonna keep it.
Better have it. Better have it. Better have it.
Oh man. But no, I can't wait till next week because I know with Randy being a bad boy, he got canceled from Facebook. But what I want to see these interactions, these reactions to what we're gonna talk about next week. So like, I know it's gonna be like an interview, but we gotta get some questions and topics ready for you because it didn't feel like 2 hours, but it's been 2 hours since the interview's been going, and I'm just excited for next week.
I have
For
some
sure.
unpopular opinions. I don't know if people are ready for that.
But you already see, man. You see the view day. I'm the quote unquote total a-hole, but they say there's two types of a-holes in this world. There's a sweet one and there's a mean one. I think I'm a little bit of both. I think I'm 80% of one, 20% of the other. I'm gonna leave it up to the people to decide which one is 80 and which one is 20.
But it's no fun to have the same opinion as everybody else. That's no fun.
Yeah. So yeah, it would be. Then we'd be all iRobots. Like it's just like somebody saying, "Man, I want a woman to do everything." And say, "I want a man to do everything." I say, "What?" So you don't want nobody that will correct you and love you enough to tell you, "Hey, you're wrong."
Because it's not comfortable. It's hard.
No. Everything I say. Yeah. That's what I want.
Again, it was all like I said, Mackenzie. Thank you so much, man. I love it.
I definitely appreciate it. I'm wearing one of these two shirts next week. So
yeah, we picturing it out. We big on support here. We love it, man. We love it because I know the principle of giving. People don't know people don't know the percentage. Like as long as you dishing out your support, we happy for anybody that's doing the same thing because I know that if the person next door to me is getting it, it's coming down the line. So we are so happy for you. We're grateful for you. We love everything that you're doing in the community as well. And we should definitely talk because you know what I'm saying. I'm like I don't want to say Gotti in Detroit because that's a badge principle, but I'm definitely over here doing my thing in the city because I love the city so much. And I love when I see people doing the right thing and doing right by the city as well. So
our time is coming. It's coming and it's coming hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want we just want to thank you so much, Mackenzie. Like I said, I cannot wait. I'm hating that we're getting off. Wait for next week to talk about, these other little topics. She brought up cancel culture. Me and Mac eyes both just going
like, yo.
I'm telling you. But I'm telling you, for everybody out there, we're gonna put this YouTube out there again on our page so everybody can watch it and we'll still get those viewpoints. But I want to get it, like you said, in person where we have a lot of points, we have a lot of interaction. Like you said, like with Mackenzie, with people, like you, and so many other ones that just come on this bad boy in the interaction. And it's back and forth. It's excellent conversation. And I believe that's why Unfiltered has gotten that much popular every year as much as it has. And we so appreciative, but it's because of people like you, Mackenzie. And we really do appreciate it.
For sure.
We absolutely appreciate you. So to everybody out there, again, this entrepreneur, this mom, this philanthropist, this amazing woman right here Mackenzie Hall. We are going to have a part 2. We are going to have a part 2 with her. We are so looking forward to it. I cannot wait, because when they see this video on the page, like, oh my goodness, man, why you didn't have this on there? And when they see it next week, it happens like that all the time. Every time we do it, it happens like that all the time.
I can't believe they canceled you. Oh my God.
Because they don't like my viewpoints, man. Honesty gets you nowhere, but it get me everywhere. I say honesty is the only policy. So
Yes,
you
sir.
can't help when people don't like what you say, because that's all that happens. Somebody reported what I said, and I just made a good point. Individuals, because I'm like, that's why Unfiltered. I like that. I think that's why my page is my page is popular, because I'm honest and I'm not a respecter of person. I call it right down the middle. My favorite saying in the world is, I ain't a good man, I'm not a bad man, I'm a fair man. That's what people need to learn how to be. They need to be fair, because
When they don't got a rebuttal, they're gonna shut you down.
Yep. You get the people, because it's good and bad. It depends on the person's perception. But fair is not a perception. Fair is what it is. It's like, look, I got the evidence, I did the research. This is what, like you just said, Mackenzie, one of the biggest points that you made so many. Like, I'm about to be looking this video over for the next couple of days to how many good points that you made tonight. And one of those points that you had made is that even though you based your information, your viewpoint on the information and the experiences you have in hand, but as you grow and you mature and you get older and you start seeing more, your viewpoint can change, because you've got more information that could change it. My goodness, man. That is just incredible. That's a damn right there.
All that says is growth. That's growth.
It's called life. People don't understand life. That's why it's so funny, like you said, with older and younger, and you just say it to them. I'm like, let me tell you something. You know why older people get mad at younger people? They're like, man, we was there. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, man, I was there. I know what you're talking about. And that's
You've never been here, though. No, that's what people say. I've been you. You've never been me. Which is true.
Yep. And that's a real talk. Like you said, it's like I might have had some of the experiences. That's the beautiful part of life. We may have been down, maybe saw the same building, but we didn't walk into it the same, and we didn't walk out it the same.
Might have seen it from opposite sides.
So Mackenzie, Ms. Hall, we appreciate you so much. Thank you. Everybody else out there, like I said, we're gonna run this by. Once I could get unblocked, I am so sorry, man. Facebook will not let me be great on some things. But we are still gonna be here next week. We'll have Mackenzie back next week for this part 2. And Mac, I don't know if you got anything to say. Of course, Jordan Asian boy, we appreciate you. We know you had to get out of here early. Mac, do you have anything to say before we let Mackenzie go?
We appreciate you coming on. I cannot wait till next week. Thank you. We'll be rocking these shirts to everybody. So you have anything you want to say, or actually give us a topic you want to talk about? We'll go ahead and promote that thing. What do you feel passionate about that you want to discuss next week?
I'm trying to pick something that's not too controversial.
Oh, you better do it. We already. That's why I was unfiltered. Do what you have to do.
I don't know. I'm excited to talk about cancel culture. Honestly, that's all.
Right, well, hey,
if you have anything else, just
let us know.
Send it to us. Let us know.
So to all the viewers.
No, we can talk about. We can talk about that picture that Jordan reposted from Jada today. About would you rather pay flat or take the 50-50 shot of flipping a coin and getting $1 million or zero?
I'm flipping that coin, baby.
That's what we can talk about. I'm not.
I'm flipping that coin.
50-50 is not good enough odds for me to walk away from 100K. It's just not. Maybe if you give me 65% chance I get $1 million, and then no, but 50% odds is not enough for me to walk away from 100.
I got it.
You don't have nothing to lose. No, when 100K is guaranteed, your opportunity cost is 100K. I have 100K to lose, actually.
I don't know. I'm flipping that coin. We could talk about it next week. So I'm flipping the coin.
I saw it, but of course I can't comment on it.
No, and I'm a gambler, so I get it. Like I could have $1 million, but you could also have 100K in 5 seconds with no work and no angst.
Yeah.
And you don't gotta be nervous. It's mine.
Yeah, but like the thing is we can see 100K probably, it's more possible we can see 100K And it's like, it's not like, all right, I didn't have 100K before I walked in this room. And there's a chance for me to get $1 million, a 50% chance, I'm taking it.
But I
You
also
sound
do.
like a true gambler.
I do.
That's real life.
But you got to
That's
remember,
real life.
zero-based entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship that I teach others, you start with zero. If you cannot afford to buy it with what you have, you don't need it yet. So I have turned companies that started at zero. So give me 100K. That's my perspective. Give me 100K with no confusion.
We gonna get into it. We gonna talk. We gonna give y'all so much. So again, Mackenzie, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Everybody else with Unfiltered, when you get the video, go ahead and share it out. This just give y'all a chance to get on YouTube, which we've been neglecting YouTube so much because we got the high Facebook following. But we give you a chance to get on YouTube and do y'all things too. Subscribe, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But for everybody out there, we thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week. Mackenzie, thanks you again. See you next week. And straight up from Unfiltered, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.